Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you guys are. So guys, we have a call out and a fight that potentially could happen. Chris Eubank has obviously called out Gennady Golovkin. Gennady Golovkin has responded, and his team has responded. Tom Loffer has responded and said that that's a fight that they definitely would be interested in. Golovkin is open to fighting Chris Eubank now. Chris Eubank firstly has to get through a very tough fight next week against Liam Smith, which I believe he will. I believe he'll beat Liam Smith. I believe that Liam Smith, although he's a good fighter, I think that Eubank is a similar level of fighter, and I think he's bigger. I think he's probably more athletic, and I think he'll win a decision. I personally think that he'll be too fast. Will he stop Liam Smith? I'm not sure. He couldn't really stop Liam Williams. Liam Smith is also very, very tough. But I just think Eubank, I think Eubank could stop Smith, and people may say, no chance, he can't stop. No, I think if Eubank goes and puts punches and bunches and becomes the old Chris Eubank that, throws a lot of punches, I think Eubank could definitely win the fight. I'm just not convinced by Eubank, and that's why I'm not convinced that he wins against Liam Smith. I do have him as a favorite, but just because of the way Eubank fights and how difficult to predict what he's going to do, it's kind of difficult to say he's definitely going to win. Because Smith, although I don't think he's an elite fighter, you could even question if he's a world-class fighter, but he's definitely fringe world level, in my opinion. And people say, oh, well, he won a world title. Yeah, but I don't believe he won a world title against somebody that was a top fighter. He won a world title. And what's his best win, really? What's Smith's best win? Smith's best win is probably just a washed up Jesse Vargas or I don't know. I don't even know what his best win is. What's his best win? The fact that I'm having to think about what his best win is, is it Anthony Fowler? No, Anthony Fowler was really domestic level. Is it, what's his best win? Liam Williams? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. So, for me, Liam Smith is a good fighter, but I don't think like I said, there's question marks for me whether he's world class. I think if he beats Chris Eubank, you could definitely then make an argument for him being world class. Chris Eubank as well, you can really say he's not world class with what he's done in his career thus far. I think he has got the ingredients and he has got the tools to be a good fighter, but it hasn't really come together. Something's been missing with him. And I don't really think you can call him world class either. And I think Chris Eubank is probably the more talented out of the two. People are saying the other way. So people are saying Smith is the more talented. No, not really. I think Smith is a good fighter, but when you look at his performances against Canelo and Munguia's not a top. I don't rate Munguia that highly, to be honest with you. I think he's a good fighter, and Munguia really beat Smith easy, really. Canelo obviously was always going to beat Smith. He's on a different league, but. Yeah, I don't know. I think Smith could win this fight. I think this is a perfect fight because I think this is the perfect fight for both guys to prove that they're the real deal. More so for Liam Smith because Liam Smith's the smaller guy. For Chris Eubank, it's a fight that people are expecting him to win and then moving on to bigger fights. Now, if he does beat Liam Smith, which I predict he will, but again, I won't be surprised if Liam Smith beats him just because I'm not convinced with Chris Eubank, to be honest with you. But if he does win, a fight with Gennady Golovkin is probably a very good fight because you'd still have to make Golovkin the favorite in the fight. But you'd have to say that Chris Eubank would have a much better chance, especially on what we saw against Golovkin against Canelo. Golovkin definitely looks like a faded ring legend, a faded fighter that was once a great fighter, but still probably has enough in the tank and still has enough left to probably beat Chris Eubank. You would probably have to say that. However, I think that would be a very, very, very good fight and one that I would definitely be interested in watching, and I'm pretty sure you guys would be interested in watching that as well. So yeah, that's something that I would really like to watch. I think if Eubank comes through Smith, I think that's a perfect fight to be made at this point. I think Golovkin, the reason why Golovkin will be interested in that fight, because I think it's a money spinner. And that's why I think Golovkin would be interested in Eubank. I think Golovkin hasn't really got anywhere to go in terms of Look, he can looked to become undisputed, but really, is there much money in the fight with Janabek? Probably not. There probably is a lot of money in fighting Charlo, who's the other champion. But are they going to be able to do a deal with Charlo? Probably a lot difficult. Whereas doing a deal with Chris Eubank and Kali Sauerland is probably going to be a lot easier. And maybe the fight's going to be a bigger payday because they could probably fill out a 60,000 seater stadium here in the UK with that fight. And it kind of adds another tick on Golovkin's legacy, something that he would have done in his career. So for me, I think that's why Golovkin will probably be open, because I actually think it's the biggest fight for Golovkin in terms of profile and finance. I don't think the Charlo fight gives him as much money as this fight, to be honest with you. So yeah, I think that's why Golovkin will be open to it, because of where he's at in his career. I think the fight makes a lot of sense. I think it makes a lot of dollars for Golovkin, and that's why I think Golovkin will be open to fighting Chris Eubank. I think that Golovkin is looking at that from a business point of view, and I also think that Golovkin probably thinks he beats Eubank still. I would favor Golovkin, because Eubank's not looked impressive to me, and I still think Golovkin has got enough in the tank to probably outclass and win a points decision against Chris Eubank. I think a couple of years ago, Golovkin would have probably blasted him out, would have been too strong, too good. And I don't think Chris would have had the power to keep him off. Now, Golovkin looks a little bit slower. He's a bit more flat-footed. Chris Eubank might be able to, outpoint him. Who knows? So that makes that fight a bit more intriguing now than what it probably would have been a couple of years ago. So I think it's a fight that I'm very intrigued by, and a fight that I would welcome as a fan. So yeah, leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think about Golovkin being open to fighting Chris Eubank. Let me know your opinions about this fight. Who do you think wins? How do you see this fight playing out? I'd love to know your opinion. Smash the like button, guys. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.